This is a test live stream. Hold on. I'm going to see if I can see myself on the computer so I can read the chat. I can't do this when the live stream is unlisted. I'm not able to see it. So let's see if I can see the live stream while it's public. Yeah. But there's a delay. There's a bit of a lag. Hold on. Yeah, I can see myself. There's a little bit of a lag. This is funny. How is the audio? Because for some reason I cannot hear the audio on my computer. Yeah, Thursday live. Hello, hello. I can see the chat, but I can't hear myself on my computer. Let me see if I'm plugged into Bluetooth on the speaker or something. Yeah. All right. But I can't hear myself on my computer. Let me see if I'm plugged into Bluetooth on the speaker or something. Yeah. Yeah, that was it. But I can't hear myself on my computer. Let me see if I'm plugged into Bluetooth on the speaker or something. Yeah. Yeah, that was it. But I can't hear myself on my computer. Okay, so I mute the computer. Now, can you still hear me now that I've muted the computer? Let me know if you can still hear me. I've muted the computer. Okay, so Styley Designs says yes. All right, so what I'm trying to do is figure out a good format for myself to do these live streams. So this is just a work in progress. I might not end up using this view, but I'm using my camera phone to film the live stream because it's very easy that way. I still have not got the proper cable for my new camera, my actual camera, Sony camera. I don't have the right data cable that connects from the computer to the camera. I just bought one. I got it in the mail today and it's a wrong type. Again, that's the second time I've done that mistake. So we're going to use my phone for the time being. Let me know if you want me to continue with the live stream. Are you guys available? Sal is here. Okay, let's see who is here. There's a lot of people here. Jim Main, Tommy Taylor, Alan, Ralph, Ahab the Fisherman. Sal is here. Graylin, Mike Tufts. Holy moly, we got everybody. Big C 0923, Chris. Okay, so this is very interesting. Now, the thing is, I cannot see myself in my phone because I've got it flipped around so that you can actually see this on-air sign properly. So it's not mirrored. Okay? So that's how you know, or that's how I know as well, that everything is in the proper orientation. How many people do we have in the chat? It doesn't say. 17 watching. Okay. All right. It does say, but it says down here. Okay, so yeah, hello, hello. Let's just do a live stream, shall we? We'll just do an hour live stream or something. So now that I can see myself on the computer, I can do this. Someone suggested it on the last live stream to use my computer, but I don't really like using the computer because I get all kinds of stone flakes and nasty stuff in my computer when I'm using it for a live stream. Now, let's see. I need to make sure that I'm in focus here. Just hold on. There's a delay. Not in focus, but within the frame. Got to make sure I'm in the frame here. Graylin is here. I need to put my computer up here or something. But that's where all my chips are flying, so I don't want to put my computer up in the front. So just, this is an experimental process, okay? Let's see how that looks. Let's get this light out of the way. Yeah, wrong way. Now this light up here is so I can see what I'm doing. Otherwise, I can't see what I'm doing very well. But somehow the lighting is weird if I move too much. Okay, I'll try to look at the camera instead of at my computer. I'll try to look at the camera rather than my computer. All right, let me see. Turn off the heater because I could pick up the heater noise last time. I don't like picking up stray noises. Right? Right. Okay, so let's do a live stream. I got nothing better to do, right? Okay. Let's do it. I'm going to do some Knife River Flint. How about that? I got plenty of this stuff. I'm going to be looking over to this side to make sure I got everything in focus. Yes? Yes. Okay. Let's see. What Jim Cooper's here. I'm actually in my napping chair myself. Perry Ghost Ken is here. Killer Cork. I was actually going to do some napping. I might have to do a napping view. Yes, yes. Sal says, Patrick, I just received a text from, let me see. Patrick, I just received a text from Sam Bradley's phone saying he passed away. Oh, dang. I believe we signed his get well card at the nap-in. Oh, I see. Well, that is quite a bad news there. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. Okay, so I don't want to put my computer in front of me, but I might have to. Yeah, let's see. Let's see how that looks. If it doesn't interfere with anything, then I'll keep the computer there. I wish I could put something over the keyboard. All right, let's see. I'm probably going to have to move this light. There's something interfering with the camera right there. There's a blurry spot. Maybe it's right here. If it's right there, I think I know how to take care of that. Yeah, okay. Let's see. So this is an experimental live stream, okay? I'll label it as a test stream. You don't have to hit the like button, but you can. There's only one person that likes it. I don't want to be all alone. Hey, Marty's here, Buckskin NYB. Okay, so as long as that light above us is not going to change the lighting, we'll be okay. Okay, so I've got Knife River Flint. I'm going to start knapping. Aussie Flintknapping is here. A couple bucks to say thanks for the content. All righty, thank you. And you're very welcome for the content. Looks good to you. Mike Tuff says looks good. Okay. Big C 0923. He's asking Mike if he still has boppers. My big one just broke, he says. All right, so I will be able to read that. I just got to make sure the flakes don't get on the computer keyboard, because it's a little bit closer than it was previously when I filmed the other live streams. All right. Let me see. Okay, so this is just a nodule of Knife River Flint just as it came off the ground, I guess. It's not that big, but I prefer this size. This is how they find them in their natural state. So this has not been knapped previously. I don't think. It might be an artifact, but I doubt it. 3.5 inches long by 3 inches wide. Okay. I got plenty of these. I might do some rock to points with this Knife River Flint. Okay. But for now, we'll just see how this looks on video. And I can save these flakes. Hey, one of mine, Oregon, home of the obsidian. Awesome. Jay Valente's here. Hey, Danny Moore. All right. KRF. Yes. Knife River Flint. I'll be pausing here just to make sure that this is the center of our view. And I'll try to keep this position. I wish there wasn't a lag. I got to wait a second or two before I can see exactly what I'm doing. So this is raw, not heat treated, but you can heat treat this stuff. It is heat treatable. I don't know if we have any new people, but there's 25 people watching. That's the usual crew. If there is somebody new, I don't only do live streams. I have regular videos, bunches of them. If you think you might, if you think I might have covered something that you want to see, just type in Jack Crafty and whatever you want to see. I might have a video on it. The fact that I've got to try to keep this in the right spot is a little bit distracting on the napping, but it's not too bad. I'm kind of used to keeping the work in the right spot, but it detracts from how I normally nap. It's hard to get in the zone when I have to pay attention to everything else. So the quality of the napping goes down slightly if I have to pay attention to other things. All right. Let's see. Who else do we have? Okay, one of a mine is newish. Longtime napper, collector, gemstones and minerals merchants from Oregon. Okay, very cool. We'll let it slide, okay? No worries. We allow newbies to watch. Yes. Yeah. As long as you behave, there's no risk of being put in timeout or anything. I have been known to do that, but it's been a while. I think they got the message last time. Or last times. I can sit a little bit closer. All right, let's see if I can sit a little bit closer, because I can't even see what I'm doing. Let me enlarge this view. I don't like the vertical format, but I'll live with it if it's something you guys like. All right. Let's see. Who is new? Anybody? If you're new, just tell us where you are so we can get an idea of who's in the chat. Anthony says, I like the new setup. I'm still curious to how you use the film to film your old videos. Always love the first person view. I'm still going to do the first person view, but I'm not going to show you how I film because it's proprietary. What does that mean? That means if I show you how it's done, I lose my edge on the regular videos. On the regular videos, I don't have much competition as far as how I film them, because people don't know how I film them. It's like magic. It's like I got glasses that have a camera in them or something. So I'm not going to tell you. Nope. It's my edge. My competitive edge. You don't have competitive edge, dude. You just got stupidity that you get lucky with. Yeah. Okay, well, I get lucky with my stupidity. Maybe that's my edge. I gotta start showing you the translucency and stuff on these. Let's see if it works with this lighting. If I go there, you might be able to see it. And if I get right there, I want to make sure that I can show this up close. Okay, so if I'm right here, you guys can see what I'm doing. I can't see it in real time because there's a lag. Okay, so I'll just have to live with that lag. There's like a 1 second delay or a 2 second delay. Okay, so it started out as a nodule. It's thinning down pretty easily. There's no weird layers or inclusions, there is a little bit of a crystal pocket right there. Right on the edge, so it's not too bad. Can you see? You can't see up close. That's all right. I'm going to do regular videos too. I've just been experimenting with these live streams, so I haven't been doing too much else lately. But I'll do the regular videos also, in addition to these live streams. This setup is not too bad because I can put away this setup pretty fast. Yeah. I just don't want something that is going to be difficult to set up and take down. This is not too bad as far as takedown. So I can do my regular videos. Let's see. I want to have the lamp and everything in view, but I also want to show the napping. Let's see. Ken says, let's see, talking to Ralph. Jared says, love the seaside part of the coast. Uh-oh, I missed something. Anthony says, yeah, I know you've always kept it a secret, and I know it's not glasses. I've always thought it was like a mic stand or something that the phone was attached to. Yeah, I got a contraption that I hold the camera with. It's my own proprietary contraption. It's a PC. It's a proprietary contraption. The aliens taught me how to use it. Yeah. I have a proprietary contraption that the aliens taught me how to use. For my regular videos. For this one, I'll tell you, it's just a camera on a tripod and a computer, and then this stupid microphone. This is like a wireless microphone. I had to plug it into the bottom of the phone. I'm using my phone to film this. It captures the motion pretty well. Yeah. Now, if I can just not scare everybody away from my videos, I'll be in business. I don't make much from the videos, right? The most I make from my videos is like $5 a month on a video. So I make much more if I do other stuff. Like if I make stuff on the side or do the auctions, stuff like that, I make a lot more money. So I'm not making money off the videos. Now it does add up a little bit because I've got a lot of videos, but like I said, the most I make on videos is the ones that are new. Yeah. The newest ones are the ones that generate the most money. The older ones, I get a few cents here and there. But it does add up because I have over 2,000 videos. It adds up. But if I don't make videos for like 2 or 3 weeks, the income does noticeably decline quite a bit. Let me see. Danny Moore says, in this format, if you double tap the screen, it gives Patrick a like. Yeah, double tap the screen. Anthony says, I found a pretty good source of chirp in my area, but practicing on that I'm getting pretty good at it. Okay, cool. Let's see. Is that Mookite Rock? That's Mookite Rock was all right yesterday, huh, Patrick? Yeah. See, yesterday I did some Mookite. I'm waiting for the 2-second lag to see if you can see this. See if it's in focus. Yes? See, the camera tends to zoom in on my face. This is Mookite. Okay. It's from Australia. It's raw. It's in a raw state. It works out pretty good. Now, it's napping a lot like Georgetown. Believe it or not, it feels and naps a lot like high-grade Georgetown. Hey, Marty, $4.99 super chat. The comment is napping my rocks the last 2 lives. What does that mean? Oh, on the last 2 live streams. Okay. And then I've got this that I just thinned down recently. Anyway, let's continue with this. I measured it earlier. It was like 3.5 inches long. It is now 3 inches long by a little under 2 inches wide. Okay, so the first stage is over. The hard part is done. This is the biface. It's not a preform yet. It's just a biface. Let me scoot my face out of the view, and then hopefully it'll zoom in and focus on this. This is the wrong way. Okay, hold on. No, can't see. Yeah, that's okay. That view is pretty good. Oops, wrong way. So you can see the edges are kind of wonky. The surface is kind of wonky. I've got artifacts that are similar to this as far as this particular stage of napping. Not made out of Knife River flint, but out of Texas chert. Okay, and there's a little bit of a delay in me being able to see what I'm doing, so that's why it's taking me so long to show you what the edges look like. So at this stage, I'm just going to abrade the edges for the next series of flake removals. But I would put this away if I was wanting to do a bunch of these. Like if I wanted to make 10 at little dart points, I'd make 10 of these first, or maybe 12 of these, because I'm going to break some, right? I usually break 1 out of 5, or it gets messed up in some way. So if I was going to make 10 of these for 10 at little darts, I would start with 12 of these little preform, 12 of these little bifaces. Okay. So the next stage is a preliminary thinning. Let's see. Looks stabby. Yeah, it can stab. Flake Scarred, I snuck up on you Thursday. Sweet. Yeah. I don't know how long this is going to go. I'll just go until 6 p.m. Eastern. How's that? That's like in about 25 minutes. And if everyone's still here and everyone wants me to continue, I'll go to 6:30. I've got a lot of napping to do, actually, so I'm not going to be doing this too much longer tonight. Thursday is when I do a lot of bifacing. You can't see. I got to get used to the distance here. And this is right over the top of my computer, so I can't drop that flake off because it'll hit my computer. Yeah. I got to make sure I don't drop stuff on my computer. I like my computer. Okay. So those are the kinds of flakes I'm trying for. They're going past halfway. All right. And I do this with, with flakers made from copper, from aluminum, from steel, or from antler or bone or horn. Okay, same procedure. Same result. They might look slightly different depending on the quality of the flaker, but it's the same procedure. In the same angles. Everything's basically the same with just slight tweaks. And when I'm using natural materials, my hits are a lot harder and faster because the antler or the bone absorbs a lot of shock. So I had to hit harder than I'm hitting with the plastic mallet and the metal. The plastic mallet and the metal work really well together. I don't have to hit very hard, but if I'm using antler mallet and antler flaker, I got to hit really, really hard because they absorb the energy more than these guys, more than this stuff. And if I use a wooden mallet, it absorbs even more energy, so I have to hit even harder, in case you're wondering. When I start doing more videos on the natural materials, you'll see. I've got another channel called Allergic Hobbit Flintknapping. Allergic Hobbit Flintknapping that has nothing but natural materials in the knapping, okay? So if you want to see that, you can go over to that channel. I never check the channel or the comments, so if you have questions over there, you need to ask them over here. Yeah. Okay, so I have a channel called Allergic Hobbit Flintknapping, 3 words. And it has nothing but natural materials. And the last time I did a video on that channel was like maybe 5 years ago. I don't know. I've been doing this a while. Anyway, a lot of people don't know that. Even the hardcore channel members, sometimes they don't know that I have another channel with nothing but natural tools. Red-eyed Patriots here. Michael, flakes are what cracked both of my phone screens. Yeah, I got to be careful with that. I like my computer, and I've been abusing it lately because I brought it into my shop here, and I've got all kinds of flakes in there in the keys. So I had to use the air cans and spray all those flakes out of there. Yeah, those little bitty flakes, and then the dust that hangs in the air settles down on the computer. Yeah, and you guys, don't be afraid to send super chats. Yeah, I only make $3 to $5 on the other videos. On the regular videos that everybody likes. I don't make much money on videos. So if you want to contribute to the Knapping Fund, you can do it here as a super chat. Yeah. And it does go toward knapping. Yes, yes. I keep track of how much money I make off of my YouTube channel. And I write down, okay, I can spend this much on rocks. And that's what I do. I actually buy a lot of rocks now. And I go to Knappings when I buy rocks now. I used to try to buy a lot sight unseen over the internet. It does work most of the time, but sometimes I don't get what I'm thinking I'm getting. What I'm thinking I should be getting, I don't get if it's sight unseen. But if I buy the rock at Knappings, it works out much better. So that's what I do. I use my YouTube income from the videos, like my AdSense income and my super chats for my rocks and travel expenses. Yeah. The auction income goes for various things. Yeah. Everything else. Okay, so this is the stage before the final thinning. Okay, so I have already done the preliminary thinning. Now comes the secondary thinning. It's still not perfect. It's got a step fracture, you can see. Okay, maybe it's better if I just show it from this view. Yeah, there's still a live stream tomorrow. And if this format works out, I'll do it like this tomorrow for the live stream. I'll try to make the background a little more interesting. I've got furs and I've even got some brain tan hides that I can put in the background and stuff. We'll see. There's still a live stream tomorrow. Today's Thursday. This is a surprise live stream. Hey, Anthony gave me a $5 super chat. No comment attached. Thank you, thank you. How did I not know Marty had a channel? Says Jim Main. I'm subbed now, though. Yeah, there you go. See, everybody knows that Sal has a channel, right? Blades and Points by SGP. Also, Mike Tufts has a channel. Marty or Buckskin NYB has a channel. Prairie Ghost Ken has a channel. If you have a channel, just say, hey, I got a channel. I missed somebody in there that I was going to say. Hey, Rockin' Pop's Adventures is here. Let's see if I can maneuver the chat so I can see. Where is... Okay, come on. I need to be able to see what people are saying that I missed. Okay, here we go. Okay. You made my wife, Melissa, laugh when you said you had a channel called Allergic Hobbit. I make myself laugh too, but that doesn't count. Let's see. This is a camera test run. Yeah, I've got a new setup. Let's see. All right, so I got to do something about this. I still don't like the camera angle all that much, but I'll just work with it. Yeah, I'll just make do with what I got so until I can figure out a better camera angle. If I get too close, I'm right here on top of my computer. I don't want to be napping on top of my computer. I want to be able to see the chat. So it has to be close. But it can't be too close that I'm just showering my computer with flakes. And I can't cover the keyboard because I need to use it. And I need to use my little pad here. Let's see. Somebody came in. Somebody just joined us that I hadn't seen. Sam! Hey, great day to you too. All right, so let's try to finish this out. How much time we got? I'm going to try to finish this piece out so I can do a proper rock to point. Yeah. It just won't be really super thin because I don't want to risk breaking it. All right. Yep. You're so agreeable always. In my mind, you are agreeable. That's all that matters. Yeah. All right, so I need to grind this a lot more. So I'm getting step fractures. See, I'm getting nasties. If I don't grind it enough, it's got plenty of convexity. I just need to make sure I grind these edges. I lose energy when the edges are thin. They tend to crush a little bit, and then the flakes don't run like they should. If it crushes in the beginning, they don't run like they should run. Yeah. I gotta pick them out. I gotta pick out those step fractures. It always helps to pick out those step fractures before I run another flake in that area. Yeah. So I picked it out a little bit. It's not that great. It's still in there. Yes. Okay. All right. So now I have to focus. So I got to zone in. I have to breathe because I tend to hold my breath if I'm thinking too much. Yeah. It took 3 hits, but I got it. Can you see? No? Those are the kind of flakes I want at this stage. All right? All right. Took 3 hits to get that one. All right, so let's speed this up and be more aggressive. Yeah. And not show everything. I'll show it better on the regular videos, okay? If I try to show everything on this one, there's too much of a delay. You just got to try to see how hard I hit. Maybe that you can see how hard I'm hitting. I don't think the microphone picks up the intensity. In fact, this microphone is better at deadening the background noises. So if you're wearing headphones, this microphone tends to work better. This little fuzzball. Let's see. Clint Evans. You can build a plexiglass shield to protect your computer. Yeah, let's see what happens when if I put up another shield, like let's say that this is a plexiglass shield. Let me get a piece of something. I would need a plexiglass shield right there. So let's see how that looks. That kind of hides what I'm doing on the flint knapping. I would have to change the camera angle a little bit. But if I put a plexiglass shield up, it's going to be right there. It's going to be in full view, almost full view. And I think that's kind of annoying. But you can see through the plexiglass, dude. That's why it said plexiglass. Yeah, I know, but sometimes it gets dusty. And I don't want to be wiping the plexiglass so I can see and then risk knocking everything over. I know these things ahead of time. I know myself. Everything gets a little bit of dust on it, including my glasses. I don't want to be wiping that plexiglass screen. And if a flake hits it or something hits it, it's going to tumble everything over. Yeah. It's going to be very tumble-ish. Anyway, it's not a bad idea. I might do it. And people say, hey, what's that in front of you napping? I don't see what you're doing. And I said, too bad, because one of my subscribers recommended it. So you can lump it. Yeah. You don't like it? You can lump it. What does lump it mean? You're so old. That must have been like a Stone Age expression or something. Yeah, back in the Stone Ages. We used to say, if you don't like it, you can lump it. Yeah. New band names, Jack Crafty and the Step Fractures. Michael. New band names. Yeah, I can come up with all kinds of weird band names. Band names. This Knife River Flint is a little bit on the tough side. Yeah. I'm trying to get rid of that island that I'm creating in the middle because I can't focus. That's my excuse. You're making me not be able to focus. I'm not able to get that out of there. See, there's an island in the middle that you made me do it. I'm blaming you guys. See, I've attacked that from all different angles and nothing seems to be working. And some people say, I don't know what's wrong with you because Knife River Flint is a luxurious type of flint that you shouldn't have any problems with. None whatsoever. So you must have been making AI videos of yourself napping before because you can't nap. Nope. Let's see. Power hits. Yeah, I just need to hit it like I'm going to break it. I still didn't do it. That one didn't go anywhere. I'm going to hit the front of that step fracture. Yeah. So I hit the front of the step fracture right there going that way. Let's see if it shows you. And I took a lot of that off there. If it wasn't for that, I would have messed it up. It looks okay now. It looks a little bit smoother now. But yeah, I got to keep grinding this. And yeah, this is what I call the sweat stage if you're new, because this is the hard part. The hard part is not breaking it. Everything else is same old, same old. It's pretty much, same old, same old. Anyone can hit the sides and generate flakes. The problem is doing it without breaking it. I'm going to make it a little more narrow. It's a little bit too wide for what I want to do. What do I want to do? I want to make it smooth. That's what I want to do, always. Only on some rocks can I make wide, smooth points. And usually I have to go more narrow if I want it nice and smooth on the surface with no stepping or lumpage. Lumpage, yeah. It's a flint-knapping term. You didn't know lumpage was a flint-knapping term? Dang it. You need to educate yourself on the flint-knapping terms on this channel. It means you got to watch a lot more videos so I can make a lot more money. Yeah. Every time you watch it, I make like 1 cent. All right. So nice when that happens. Yeah. See, instead of little flakes. And that went into the area of the islands, sort of, kind of. There's just a little remnant of the island left, and then it's getting thinner. Let's see if it shows up. The delay is like 1 or 2 seconds. Nope, that's the wrong direction. How about that way? I want to show you the thinness, but I have to wait until the camera. Yeah, there it is. So, I mean, not the camera. I have to wait for that delay in the display. The display has a delay. Okay. What in the wide world of flint napping is going on? Thomas Thompson says Pat is our Bob Ross of Flint. If you say so, I don't mind. I don't mind you saying that. So that now I cleared out the rest of that island with that flake. Where did it come from? It came from right there. Okay. I don't want to. It still fell. See? So that's part of making it smooth. Now it's still a little crunchy in there. But oh well. Now I can work on the other side. Yeah. It's super thin though. So I got to be super careful. How do you be super careful when you're hitting so hard? It's all just very subtle. You can't let up on the gas, but you do have to steer a little more carefully. I mean, you know, really focus on the steering. Like if you're driving a car, you're not letting up on the gas. The road is becoming a lot more difficult to negotiate, so you got to focus on the steering, but don't take your foot off the gas. That's what flint napping is like at this stage, when you're hitting really hard. With pressure flaking, it calms down. You know, it's not intense. The pressure flaking is pretty laid back. But when you're doing percussion on something like this, that's this thin, and with material that's this valuable, it's like driving an expensive car really fast, and the road becomes difficult to negotiate. You get you all nervous. And if you're not nervous, you're not normal. All right. All right. So I'm going to make sure I don't think too much on these strikes and just go mainly by feel. I don't know how I'm thinning. I'm just doing it by feel. I can't tell you the angles. You might be able to see a little bit of what I'm doing and get a little bit of guidance just by watching, but you're going to have to do it yourself in order to get the tweaks all up into your subconscious. The tweaks make all the difference. And like I said, I'm not letting off the gas. I'm still hitting pretty hard to get big flakes. You have to hit hard to get big flakes. Now, not everybody does it that way, but I'm used to using raw stone. This is not heat treat. This is not easy to nap. This is not obsidian. This is not heat treated Knife River. No, this is not heat treated. What do you call it? Flint Ridge. It's not heat treated Flint Ridge. This is raw Knife River. So it's a whole different ball game when you're working with tough raw stone. This is a particular variety of the Knife River that's tough. It's a particular variety. Not all of it is this tough to nap. And someone might say, yeah, you're just saying it's tough to nap because you're not able to do it right. Okay. Anyways, I'll see if this looks correct in the camera view. Do I turn it this way? No, the other way. It's got to be perpendicular to the face. There it is. See how the tip is fatter? I left it that way on purpose. Come on. Thicker, I mean. That the tip is thicker. I left it that way on purpose. I usually don't do that, but I did it on this one because I didn't want to mess up the tip. It's tough enough. This material is tough enough that it's not going to snap with a little bit of extra weight on the tip. But I have little step fractures here and there. They can be picked out. Yeah, if I sharpen up my flake picker, I can pick a lot of those out. Let's see. At this point, I usually let you know what the ratio is on this, the width to thickness ratio, so I'll tell you in a second. I'm just seeing if I can pop out some of these step fractures. Pick them out, make it look better. It didn't pick. It didn't pick. Nope, it didn't pick. Not all of them are picking. Hope that doesn't mean something I don't want it to mean. So yeah, this is nice translucent knife river. See? All right, so that's the secondary thinning or the final thinning. I'm not going any thinner than that. So let's do the ratio and do the measurements. Total length is 2 3/4, so I lost about 1/4 of an inch by 1.5 inches. And the ratio, I'm going to do it in millimeters. It's 37 millimeters wide by 5 millimeters thick. 7:1. But there's a little high spot right there. I need to thin down to make it consistently 7:1. There's a high spot right there. Yeah, I can get that with pressure, or maybe I'll just pressure the edge and then shoot another percussion flake in that little high spot area. So 7:1 is pretty good. Anything better than 5:1 actually works for an Atlatl dart point or an arrowhead. Where's my foreshafts? So I've got these foreshafts already made, all right? And I believe back in the day, they used to make a lot of foreshafts ahead of time, all to the same dimensions, okay? Maybe not the same weights, but the same dimensions as far as the notching goes and as far as the width, okay? So depending on which one I'm going to be using for my Atlatl darts, I got to make the thickness to fit the notches, the pre-made notches. So this one fits nice and tight. Yeah. So that's how you judge how thick the point needs to be, by the pre-made foreshafts. Is that how they used to do it back in the day? Yeah, I think so, because a lot of times these points are very consistent in thickness. How did they manage to do that? Well, they had pre-made foreshafts as one explanation, or some kind of gauge that tells them that they've reached the proper thickness. Okay, so we'll stick with this foreshaft and we'll make a point that has a stem that'll fit this foreshaft. Okay, and keep in mind that if I wanted to make 10 of these, I'd already have 10 foreshafts made up, all to the same size. Now they might vary slightly, so you test all of them against the different foreshafts and you just use the ones that fit better for each point you make, because sometimes the variation in the foreshaft is okay, because there will be variations, slight variations in thickness of the points. Of course, if you use a lot of glue, the glue can make up the difference too, so it doesn't matter all that much. But yeah, it matters that you make a bunch of these ahead of time. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't want to know about all the other stuff involved with these things. I just want to know what these are by themselves, and that's it. This is a technology by itself. It stands alone.
That's what some people might say. But no, this stuff doesn't stand alone. It's part of a system. Okay. So I'm going to pressure flake this. We'll see how it looks. I'm going to sit here and try to examine how it looks on video. And if you can't see, that's okay, because I'm not going to fix it if you can't see. You'll have to just wait till I do a regular video to see exactly what I'm doing. One of those proprietary setup videos where nobody knows how I filmed them, because I'm using alien technology. Yeah. You don't think aliens were involved in teaching people how to flint knap and stuff? And how to do things that seem magical? Yeah, dude, that's just internet chatter. Yeah. Everything's internet chatter these days. I was trying to find some high grade or high quality news people on YouTube. I need to get my news from people that are reliable. It's like one of the hardest things to find is reliable news that's up to date. After a while, the stories, they develop and you find the truth later. But if you want current events, like within the last 48 hours, everyone's guessing and lying and propagandizing, and they don't know the full story. They just kind of invent hypotheticals, or it seems like this is happening, it seems like that's happening. What do you think? Well, I think this seems like this and this seems like that. Yeah, that's a good seems. Yeah. What are your seams? Well, it seems like this is happening and that's happening. Oh, those are awesome seams too. Yeah. They're not awesome. If it just seems this way, it seems that way. It's not awesome. Anyway, I can't find any good news sources on the YouTubes. I had to, I've got some channels I follow, but the news, if I want accurate, up-to-date stuff, can't get it. Sometimes I ask Grok after the fact, a couple weeks later or whatever, what's the news on this particular thing that I saw 2 weeks ago? And they'll give me an update on Grok. Okay. So how do I sharpen this stuff with natural tools? I use rock grinding stones. rock grinding stones. Yeah, for the antlers. This is tough knife river. I'm having a relatively difficult time thinning down the tip here because it is tough material. What do we got? Hey, some guy named Monkey. I don't think I've seen you before. Hello. Mike Mason, Anthony. Let's see. There are some rocks that will take you to the moon, I hear. Yeah. We're not talking about those kind of rocks. Although the aliens might have told us about those too. Yeah. That's something the aliens would do to us, for sure. Hey, dude, you know if you distill the chemicals from this particular plant, you can go to the moon. Yeah. Really? Sure. Try it out. Try it out. Dude, I didn't go to the moon, but I went to the farthest star. Yeah. I was out with all the stars out there. It seems like they're far away. Instead of just a little ways away. Mm-hmm. They discovered some of that stuff while they were experimenting with them rocks. All right, so that's what I'm trying to do also, to thin down. It works better with percussion when I try to thin down. I can't see. When I try to thin down the blades in this way, I can't really do a coast-to-coast flake with pressure like that reliably. So I'm using percussion. I tried using pressure, but it didn't thin it down enough. So I'm using percussion to do those coast-to-coast type flakes, or at least halfway across. Yeah. See, that kind of stuff is hard for me to do with pressure. Let's see if you can see. No, can't see. What's good about this material is you can see the difference between the flake and the surface of the workpiece. The flake looks like a lot lighter in color. Yeah, that helps, because sometimes when I'm trying to show a flake, it's the same color as that workpiece. It's difficult to see. All right. Yeah. So that's a good flake too. As I was saying earlier, I can take out lumps like this. Yeah. It did step at the end though, so that wasn't so good. See, there's a little step fracture at the end. I might be able to pick that out. Yeah, so let's see if I can pick that with the picker. No. A little bit. It worked a little bit, but it's still there. I can't sell it if it's got that in there. Yeah, it messes with the price. In fact, it goes from a high price to zero when that's in there. Yeah. It's like, no, can't do it. Can't buy it when it's like that. Sorry. Yeah, I know. I don't think I'd buy it either if it had that in there. Some people say, you can soak these in water, dude, and stick them in the freezer, and all those step fractures will pop out. Yeah. All them step fractures pop out if you stick it in the freezer, because ice will get in there and pop it out. Because ice expands. You know that, right? Yeah, I know ice expands, but I've tried putting them in the freezer and nothing happens. Nothing happens. Except I get frustrated. Because I should have known better. Yeah. Listen to randos. If you listen to randos, you only get yourself to blame. Yep. So I'm going to skip that step fracture for now and then come back to it later. After I make this more narrow. I should be able to get that out in some way. What time is it? I'm not going fast enough. I'm having to explain it all. Yeah, I'm having to explain everything. It's like people want to learn. Dang it. People want to learn how to do this. So I got to explain it. I got to explain why I'm struggling too. No, don't explain why you're struggling because that's bad format. That's bad content. You want to see performance art. Yeah. You want to see performance art? Yeah. I can make it more performative by adding some drama. How's that? I don't know what I'm going to do now. It's not cooperating. If I finish it, I'll be lucky. Yeah, I'm doomed. I can feel it. I'm doomed. I can feel it. Let's see. Anthony says, I was told that you can heat it up, or you have to heat it up until it almost starts to melt and then pour liquid nitrogen on top of it and a little droplets. And that's how you chip the flakes off. That's how the aliens do it. Yeah. That's how the aliens do it. We haven't figured out how they do it. We can watch them do it, but we don't know how they do it. How is it even possible? You can try it. Yeah, get back to us when you've tried it. I know you're kidding in there, you know. Just in case someone says, what is he talking about? What is he talking about? It's ridiculous. He's not just ridiculous, he's damn ridiculous. Yeah. I hate when that happens. When I crunch the edge, when it's not supposed to crunch and it does crunch anyway. Especially when it's thin. You can't see the crunch? No, yeah, you can see a little bit. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so I gotta uncrunch it. I took out that step fracture. I took out the step fracture that was right there in the middle, but then I got another one right there. I took out this one, but then I got that one. Stupid. It's stupid. Whatever technique I'm using seems to be stupid. Let me see if I can pop that one out or pick it out. Ooh, almost got it. Come on, please. Let's do it. Almost. Almost. It's almost gone, right? I'm going to try to get it out of there. It's going to get really, really thin. Oh, did it do it? I think it might have done it. Let's wait for the delay. Let's see if it does it. Come on. I think it's good enough. If I go any thinner, I'm going to risk my life. See that? I think I can pick those little fingernail step fractures out of there. We'll see. How did I do this up to this point? I don't know. It's getting really thin. I'm getting nervous. I was thinking about that today. One reason why these things get really thin is because you're doing damage control, and you may not actually want it to get that thin, but it gets thin because you got to remove mistakes. Yeah. So I didn't really want it to get that thin. That's incidental thinness. Incidental thinness. I can't take credit for that because it's kind of unintentional. Let me see. Got to wait for the delay. There it is. Okay. So I'm going to continue pressure flaking until I see a spot that needs further thinning, like I've been doing for the past 15 minutes. And yeah, you got to grind it before pressure flaking too. I see a spot that I can thin down. Yeah, just a little bit. I don't need to thin it too much more because it already fits in the foreshaft. Right, so I don't want to be thinning near the base. I just want to be able to sharpen the edge easily. And it's easy when it's thin. Yeah, like that. And it still fits in the foreshaft without wobbling around. It's still tight. It's just not wobbling. Okay, it's not wobbling. You can't have any wobbliciousness. That's a flint-knapping term. But it only applies if you're doing it right. If you're also trying to fit these into foreshafts. So you're not really flint-knapping unless you're also trying to fit these into foreshafts. That's what I say. All right. So let's finish this out, shall we? Yes. Let's shall. Where's the pressure flaker? I think Mike Mason made this for me, right? Right, Mike? This is handy because it's nice and thick. It's like a 1/4-inch steel rod that I just grind down until it gets real skinny. Or thin. And I have to keep grinding down this thick part because when the top wears out, I got to watch and be careful because this will hit the sides. The thicker part of the flaker will hit the sides of the notches. So I'm just going to put corner notches in here to match the width of the foreshaft. Put corner notches in there to create a stem that matches the width of the foreshaft. Okay? All right. And I use the foreshaft as a guide, okay? Back in the day, they didn't have Sharpies. Back in the day, they didn't have Sharper either, so you shouldn't use that either, dude. Unsubscribe. Wasting my time watching you copper guys. Yeah, I know. I know this is hypocritical. But I'm just saying. You do need to learn how to make foreshafts and have to, at least some of these. So you can say, yeah, I've actually shot some of these things. Some of these projectile points, I've made projectiles out of them, or I've incorporated them into projectile, into the system of projectileness. Yeah, I was watching an archaeological video today. All the jargon that they use. I could use archaeological jargon, but I don't. I just make up stupid stuff. Yeah. I don't want to sound that way. Sometimes I'll sound that way, the way that the archaeologists sound. But only if I want to illustrate something and compare it to how you'll see it in the research studies. They'll call it blah 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 or this and that. Then I'll use their jargon. But otherwise, I don't know. So right now I'm working on the symmetry, right? I'm making this symmetrical before I put the notches in, because that helps. Especially if I want to sell this later. Symmetry is one of the things that you need to establish with stuff you want to sell. People like symmetry, they like smoothness, they like sharpness and straightness of the edge. That kind of thing. Which gives it a nice modern look. That's what people like when they spend money on these. They like that nice modern look to them. Nothing wrong with that. Just don't tell me that's the way they used to make them back in the day. If it looks modern, it's not how they used to make them back in the day. Because the reason is right in the name of the point. If the point looks modern, that means it doesn't look like they look like back in the day. So if you're making stuff that looks modern, that's fine. But don't say that's how they made them back in the day. I've seen several knappers make modern looking points and claim that they're using techniques that they used back in the day. I mean, the technique might be okay, but you've got to also incorporate. You also have to incorporate the actual result. Yeah, the techniques are the same, but the result tweaks your technique a little bit. You either back off or something to make it a little bit different than what you're doing for a modern point. So that makes it different than how they made it back in the day, if you don't do that little tweak. Anyways, I'm rambling. I'm trying to focus on this too. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm just improving the symmetry before I put the notches in, because I told you I was going to put some corner notches in. I'm just tweaking the symmetry a little bit before I start doing the notches. Okay, that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm done with the symmetry. Whoa, I don't want to drop it on the flakes. I'm done with the symmetry. Let's see, let's wait for the delay. All right, now I can put in the corner notches, and I make sure the stem is going to fit properly. Okay, so here we go. So I'm using this spatula type tool to crunch in the notches. Now, it's not going to be easy because this stuff is a little bit tough. This particular piece of Knife River flint is tough. And I don't use punches for these usually, although I can break out the nacho. Yeah. I can say, hey, Nacho, you want to get in this? You want some of this? Yes, I want some of that. I want to win. Okay, I'll get you. You'll get in here and get some of this here in a minute. What is nacho? The Nacho-matic. But I use the term nacho because it reminds me of Nacho Libre, the movie. Yeah, because I use the fighting metaphors, I guess, when I'm doing flint knapping. Everything's a battle in flint knapping, or fighting, or wrestling. In Nacho's case, it's a wrestling match. In Nacho Libre, the movie, he's a wrestler. So let's get him in the ring and let's have him wrestle this point. So I started the notches. Yes, can you see? No, can't see. Up a little bit more. See, that's how I start the notches. I just crunch them in. All right. And then I look and see. That's good. That'll work. It's still wide enough. The stem is wide enough. Okay. It's a little bit too wide, but that's fine because it can always get smaller. You can't add stone, but you can always take it away. Okay. You can't add stone, but you can take it away. So it's a little bit wide. The stem is a little bit wide, but that's okay. And you have to do this with every piece you make if you're going to make a bunch. Oh yeah, that's the other thing I was doing today. I was trying to calibrate my spine tester for arrows. And I had bought some carbon arrows that already have the spines written on. So I asked Grok, can you translate what the carbon arrows have on them to the spine weights that are indicated on my spine tester? Or, you know, I need to be able to calibrate, make sure my spine tester is working. Because I've been using it for spining some natural shoots. And yeah, it helped me figure that out. It is calibrated properly. So, and the reason why I was worried is because the indicator gets bent. It's made of metal, right? So there's an indicator that on the dial, that big old, I don't know, pointy thing. It gets bent out of shape sometimes when I have it in storage, or when I put it in storage or take it out or whatever. It gets bent. So I have to make sure it's straight. And the best way to do it is if I can calibrate it with an arrow that I know the spine of. And I bought some carbon arrows. They are very consistent in spine, always. They don't change in spine like natural shoots. So I'm using that to calibrate my spine tester, because I will be shooting. I will be making and shooting arrows very soon on video. And I'll show you how persnickety I am about arrows. Yeah. Okay, I might have to get Nacho out sooner than I thought. See, trying to drive these notches is more difficult than I thought it was going to be. Maybe I should get rid of that burr that's forming on the tip of this. Yeah, that would help. If it forms a burr on this, it gets wider, and it gets harder to dry flakes when this gets wider. Yeah. So I was stupidly trying to drive more flakes with that burr on there. Let's see if this works. I might have to get the file out because I really stalled it. Yeah, you don't need to see the stall because everyone knows what that looks like. Yeah, it stalled it. Yep. Sometimes I can uninstall it, but it's stalled. It's pretty bad. And the way I used to fix that back in the day was to just make a bigger notch. But I'm not going to. I'm going to file it down and get it thinner, and then pop another series of flakes out. I can widen the notch and get rid of that stall, but I don't want to widen the notch. I want to keep it kind of narrow. So yeah, cheat and use the file. That's what professionals do. They cheat to get results. All right. Did that pop it out? Nope. That popped out a little bit. The rule is never to use a lot of force when you're driving these notches. So if you find yourself using a lot of force, you're going to break it. I can force it, but I don't want to force it because I'll break it. It's got to pop out with minimal force. Minimal. You're still pushing hard. I'm still pushing hard, but I'm at the point where I'm not going to be applying any more force than necessary. There it is. So you can see I popped out those little pop-out flakes, and that thinned it down. Can't see. You can kind of see where I popped it out. Yeah. Okay. So that thinned it down. I can continue with the notch. Just crunch it in there. Just keep crunching. Yep. That's the easiest way I found to do notching is just crunch them in. There's other ways. Come on. Still making me use a lot of pressure. Right on the edge of breaking this. I did break it. See, I took off I just blasted off part of the barb. So yeah, all that worked for nothing. I still blasted off part of that barb. Because of excessive pressure. So how do you make them thin? How do you make these notches narrow? It takes time. And or lots of practice. Yeah, that's it. That's just practice, and time and practice will get these notches more narrow on each particular type of material. Some materials are easier to notch than others. On this stuff, it would take me a while to get used to it. Like on the next couple of points, let's say, as an example, I can probably figure out what I need to do to drive these notches a little more effectively, which it might mean that I need to have a different shape of the tool tip. I may be having to make the stem thinner. I don't want the stem thinner because then it doesn't match the foreshaft. I might have to make a whole bunch of new foreshafts. Somebody might come up with that idea. So your foreshafts notches are too wide, dude. Or I just use, thin them down and just use a lot more glue to fill that gap. Yeah. So I'm using a lot of pressure to pop these out. Okay, let's see if that stem is now in line with the width of the foreshaft. Yes, it is. Can you see? Hold on. Let's wait for the delay. The bottom of the notches need to meet up with the wood. See, the width of the wood has to match the width of the stem. And it does. How did I know this? I don't know. I've been doing this a while. See if I can get it in the frame. So you can see the bottom of the notches, or the neck, is the same width as the foreshaft. See that? It can be the same or slightly larger. Okay. It's slightly larger. That's good. So now I just sharpen the edges. Yeah. And if I want to, I can, put a little concavity in the stem base or straighten it. Let's just straighten it and make it look pretty. It doesn't have to be straight, but let's just do it. It looks a little bit prettier with a straight base. So we'll do that. And then we'll sharpen the edges. And then we'll be done with the live stream. And I can call it a Rock the Point live stream. A Rock the Point that matches the 4-shaft experimental live stream. Yeah. With Knife River Flint. And try to fit all that in the title. Yeah. So I'm straightening out the base. Hold on. It is risky because the neck is narrow, and if I put too much pressure on the base to remove some of these flakes, it'll snap across the neck. You don't want to snap the neck on your points. It's cruel and unusual punishment. Yeah. I was watching a video today. I watched a lot of videos today, didn't I? I watched a video on how they were fighting the Japanese at Iwo Jima and other islands in the Pacific when they couldn't get the Japanese. They couldn't get access to the Japanese because they were in tunnels and in caves. They made their bunkers inside of caves in some of these islands. So they couldn't reach them. They just retreat down in the caves. And they had little holes here and there where they could shoot out from the caves. Defensive. They were defensive bunkers that they had little places where they could shoot carved into the stone. And so the Marines were having a hard time getting them out. The regular grenades they were throwing into these holes where they were shooting out of, these, I forget what they call them, firing ports or whatever. They would get the grenades in there sometimes, but even if they got a grenade in there, it wouldn't destroy the equipment. The Japanese would just put more guys in there. The grenades would blow up the guys, but the equipment was still there, and they would just put some more guys up in there to operate the equipment. So what the Marines ended up doing was they used phosphorus grenades. They're not supposed to use phosphorus grenades against personnel. But they started using them because there was no way to destroy the equipment and get the people out. The enemy was in there refusing to leave, but when they threw in the phosphorus grenades, it not only would kill personnel sometimes, but what really was effective was that it got the troops out from the bunkers because of the smoke, the toxic smoke from these grenades, and then the equipment would be damaged by the intense heat. So it would force the Japanese out of that bunker. They would go deeper in the cave, yes, but when they came back after the smoke cleared, the equipment was damaged, so they couldn't use it. So that bunker was out of commission. That's how they finally figured out how to get those bunkers defeated. And there was controversy. Not supposed to use them phosphorus grenades. Yeah, well, that's it. What else can you do? That's all we had in our arsenal when we attacked the island. That's all we got. It's just grenades of different types. And, regular ammunition for their rifles and stuff. Anyway, I don't know how I got into that. Something reminded me of that. Anyways, I'm just sharpening now and working on some thinning on the edge. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Okay. If I go too fast, I mess up. Yeah, when I was in the National Guard, we called those phosphorus grenades incendiary devices. They're not supposed to be used on personnel. Big no-no. Yeah, we saw like training films on that stuff. That and napalm, all these different kinds of flammables. A lot of the injuries in war are due to fire, burns. Many injuries are burns. That's why we had briefings on combustibles and stuff. Anyways, I'm trying to distract myself a little bit from this so I don't think about it too much. Why is it useful not to think about this too much? I can go faster if I don't have to think about it. Yeah. So that's about it. Yeah, I'll show you in a second here. I gotta make sure I don't crush the edge when I'm sharpening. I did crush the edge a little bit right there. Here we go. Come on. I messed up the symmetry. Yeah. Story of my life. I tried to sharpen it and I mess up the symmetry. Yeah, I shouldn't worry too much about uncrunching the edge. Just leave some crunchiness in there. I should just tell myself, just leave the crunchiness in there. Stop trying to get rid of all the little crunchy spots. Okay, I'll do that. How do you get rid of the crunchy spots? You have to take bigger flakes. If you just take little bitty flakes, it doesn't really get rid of the crunchy spots. I don't know how to explain it. You just got to blast through the crunchy areas. So that's good enough. You see, on this edge on this side, there's some crunchy areas. Let me see if I can get. We'll wait for the delay. Anyway, just trust me. There's some crunchy spots along this edge, but not on this edge. You flip it over, and it's almost like I beveled it, right? So I tend to favor one side or the other. So it looks like a bevel is starting here, and flip it over and starting there. Okay. Beveling is a very effective. It is a very effective way to sharpen. Okay, so that's it. I'm done. It's good. I'm going to call it good. And it fits nice and tight into the foreshaft with the width of the neck matching the width of the wood. Or just a little bit more, which is fine. Ready? No, it's not ready. There it is. Move closer. Okay. Up a little higher. Okay. See? There. So what kind of point is that? There are many points with that style in the archaic period. Many points with that style. All right, so we're done. I'm going to call it a night. Anthony says, all right, everybody, I got to go. I will see you later. Good night, Patrick. Good night, Anthony. Who's your turtles and tortoises? Says good night to Anthony. Hey, Jeremy gave me a super chat. $5. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. No comment attached. Danny Moore says, it's a beauty. Thank you, thank you. Clint Evans says, nicely done, Patrick. Thank you, thank you. Let me show the thinness of the final point. And let's see if it aligns well inside the foreshaft. It always fits in one way better than the other way. So let's flip it around a little bit and see if we got a good alignment. Let's see if I can get this to show. Move it a little bit that way. And then turn and go up a little. See, the notch doesn't fit perfectly. I mean, it doesn't fit perfectly in the notch, but we can make up those spaces with glue. That's one use of that hard, hot melt glue made with asphaltum or a combination of asphaltum and pine pitch or gum base or something that makes the asphaltum less brittle. What's asphaltum? You missed it last time? I'll show you. These little blobs. Let's see. I got some blobs of asphaltum that I'll be melting down and combining with various substances to make glue. It can be used in this natural state, but it's very brittle. Okay? All right. So that's it. That's the Rock to Point video. And I will do another live stream tomorrow night, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. Okay? Same as usual. We're going to go back to our regular scheduled programming tomorrow night, 8 to 10 p.m. And I think I'll use this format until I can come up with a better format as far as the vertical video. All right, everybody. It's good to see everybody. Adrian Hess. Hey, Adrian Hess arrived, and now he's saying, hey, I'm ready, guys. SE Texas Outdoorsman is here. I'm new here, and I was wondering how long you've been napping. I've been napping for about 15 years. I think since 2010 is when I really started to make stuff that I wanted to make. So, 2009. I've been napping since 2009, pretty much. Before that, I couldn't make anything that I wanted to make. I just kind of went with the flow. I didn't start controlling my flaking and all that until much later, after I first started. All right, everybody, we'll see you later. See you tomorrow night or on the next video. Okay? Take care. Bye-bye.